My name is Elizabeth Sander, and I've been coming to Mission View for about 4 years. I ended up at Mission View because I was invited by a new friend that I met. I was selling a house and she came to help me clean, and we just hit it off right away, and she invited me to church. I was raised Catholic and I did all the Catholic things. I found it hard to relate to because I grew up in a family that was a little rough, and I really just kind of thought it was a joke. I would say I became a Christian after I started coming to Mission View, and I came for my daughter because she enjoyed the kids ministry, and really just being here every week and listening to Matt and to the message and to hear that God loves me and kind of the truth of what the Bible is, just kind of eventually seeped into my soul, I guess you could say. And I started thinking, I think I'm a Christian, and it was around that time that I wanted to officially be baptized. My husband Brent and I were divorced at the end of 2020, and we soon realized that really wasn't what we both wanted. So we were trying to get back together, but again, being very worldly, the foundation still just wasn't created. But we did date and stay together, and so by the end of 21, we had me and Eleanor moved back into our family home, and it wasn't still going very well in terms of the relationship. And actually, I think it was might have been the end of 21 that I met my friend, and I was selling a house that I had planned on moving into before we were getting together. But I decided to sell that house, and then we moved in to Brent's house. During the time when I first started attending Mission View and hearing the message and the truth of it all again, I just really felt called to just jump in. So I was in the community groups, and I started coming to events and tried to just get to know the community here, and I felt so welcome, which was just opposite from what I had experienced in any of my church experiences before, but also, generally in the world. I didn't feel very welcome. Really don't think I was very in touch with my own foundation with the Lord. So coming here helped me to really establish what my foundation was meant to be. And once I really settled in that, my world just kind of almost became bigger, and I became a part of this community. I think with my lack of foundation that I had, I felt like I always had to fight. And I know that looking back, that was, definitely some issues in my marriage, and that I always had to protect myself. Again, just familiarizing myself with the Bible and how, God takes on these battles for us, and He already knows what's going to happen. That helped me to kind of settle myself so that I don't have to fight all the time. And I didn't have to protect myself all the time. Whatever was for God's plan was just going to happen. But I didn't necessarily need to fight and protect myself. That was His job.
My name's Brent Sander. I started coming to Mission View a couple years ago to watch my daughter whenever she would participate in things here at Mission View, and whenever my ex-wife would invite me to come occasionally, I would stop by, and I began attending regularly in February of this year. Previously, we were attending another church, and I went to get baptized after Eleanor was born because I kind of felt like that was the next thing to do. While I was in that line with the other people getting baptized that day, an older gentleman was there baptizing his grandson, and he asked me, when were you saved? And I didn't have an answer for that. I was like, I don't know, when my daughter was born, that was really all I had. I didn't have a definitive moment. And then we got divorced. Our marriage fell apart. We tried to get back together. It still didn't work. Then Liz started to attend Mission View here, tried to drag me along. And I think I've heard the call for a while and kind of ignored it. And then in February of this year, I was kind of just living my way, doing what I wanted to do, very much the worldly thing, living a more hedonistic lifestyle, I would say. And really it just brought me to this moment where I was very ashamed of what I was doing and cried out to God. I couldn't sleep, and that was the night that I was saved. And before I fell asleep, I just knew that what I had been doing in the dark needed to be brought to light. So that next morning I called Elizabeth and was telling her what had been going on, and I called into Mission View and I had an emergency meeting with Pastor Matt so I could tell him what was going on so I could be held accountable. And then I just started getting involved with the church from then on. I really felt welcomed and like this was my church family. They've helped me a lot, my family, and yeah, started coming to church every week, got baptized, went to the men's retreat, and I'm in discipleship. just hitting it all, hitting the ground running. And when I went in that meeting, that's what Matt told me, is I was at a fork in the road and I could either continue doing what I was doing or I could chase after God, and that's what I wanted to do. Whenever we first started coming here too, so we met with Matt a couple times to counsel us together. I agreed to meet with him and have some conversations with him, and that's when I really got to know Matt. And I basically also, in our first meeting, cut right to the chase, and I said literally it would be a miracle of God if me and Liz ever were to get back together, because I just was literally not there in my heart or my mind. Like I just didn't want anything to do with that. I really honestly felt that I had turned that page and I was ready to move forward. And his response to me was, well, God's in the miracle business. And then from there we just had conversations about the Bible and ourselves and what was going on in life. He didn't push me any particular way, other than to say like, hey, we do believe if a Christian couple can get back together that they should. So God does have a sense of humor.
He does.
He's laughing at me, that's for sure.
He is. So Brent started coming at the beginning of, I think it was in January, he sort of announced we were getting along well as co-parents, and we would, randomly go out to dinner, the three of us, and he just announced at dinner randomly in January, I'm going to come to church on Sunday, and me and Eleanor were thrilled, of course. He was coming every Sunday, and I think I asked you if you wanted to join community group, and it was like, no, hard no. Like, I'll go to church, but I'm not doing this thing, like doing the thing. January and February came by, and we actually went out to dinner for Valentine's Day in February. And I really felt like we were just, it was just a friendly dinner. I wasn't thinking anything ahead. I wasn't getting in my mind about it or anything. And we were just kind of asking each other how everything was going, or I would share something about, did you hear this at church on Sunday? What did you think about that? Just try to get him to talk about what his thoughts about everything, about his journey so far. Somewhere between Valentine's Day and the beginning of March, I had a moment after we must have hung out as a family or something. And I remember having a little bit of a moment where I was kind of getting in my head about it and starting to worry and getting anxious. And I just remember that night or that next morning, I sat down with my Bible and my journal, and I just remember saying to God, if this is meant to be a thing and you're going to have us, repair this, or you're going to repair this, I should say, and we're going to be together, then I'm here for it. But if you just want me to be the light, if you just want me to represent you, I will do that. Just lead me there. Just tell me what to do. Whatever you want me to do, Lord, I will do it. And I just remember that was sometime around the time that it was before I think you had your crisis. I had to get up and go to work, and I had to drive all the way to Sandusky. So I couldn't even go to his house to be supportive in that moment, but I was supportive as best as I could be in that moment. And we talked the whole way up to Sandusky. So that's 2 hours. And then when I got there, I said, I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray for you. The words that just came out, it was the first time where I had a moment where I could actively, in a moment of crisis, pray for a friend. And the words that came out they were not my own. They were just God's words with my voice, But he was crying on the other end of the phone, and I was trying to keep it together because I had to go into work, and that was difficult. It ended up being, I think, a good just moment for him to kind of see, like, I'm here for you. I'm your friend, your sister in Christ. However I can help you. And he was able to get in to talk to Matt that day. And then I think, yeah, we were hanging out more, and I was just trying to be a friend to him. And I remember bringing my Bible over a few times, like, let's sit down and talk about Ephesians. This is my favorite book in the Bible right now, and I think it's how to be a good human. What do you think about this verse? Let's talk about this. And it went really well. Yeah. And then, I don't know, we just kind of, we went to go see the Chosen movies when they came out, so we actually went together to go see those. And I think at one point, maybe the last movie or something, when we were walking out, we kind of held hands. And I remember telling Ann McGugan, and she was my discipler, like, oh, we held hands. And I was all excited about it.
We started hanging out, going on walks, and
yeah. So
I kind of asked, like, oh, so are we Christian dating? And she's like, well, I don't know, you're the man. And I was like, well, I'm asking.
Yeah. I listened to Julie Slattery's podcast, Authentic Intimacy, and she described what Christian dating looks like, which is something I didn't know what that even was. I didn't realize it had, stages or what it looked like or anything. And so I just remember sharing that with him. Like, did you know these are the stages and this is what it is? And so then I think it was a little while after that, he was like, well, are we dating? Like, what stage are we at then?
I would say the biggest thing is the dramatic change, after that night. It obviously doesn't necessarily happen like that for everybody, but like my heart changed so fast, and then all of a sudden, my main priority was, getting my family back together and what I needed to do to be a good leader for my family, and how was I supposed to live this life. And thankfully, we have all the answers in the book that we read here at church.
Yeah.
So, and between that and, like I said, I think with Matt getting me in the discipleship group and going to the men's retreat, which was just a blessing in and of itself. And I didn't really want to do, community groups, and sometimes I still can't make it just because of schedule, but I do really enjoy going. And anytime that, you feel too busy to do something, but in the back of your mind or in your heart saying you should probably do it, because you're probably going to receive a blessing for being obedient, I'll say, to God.
Whenever we established that we were dating and just spending more time together, we were still doing a lot of the same things that we did when we were in the friendship, stage. I'd bring my Bible and, hey, let's talk about this, or what did you think about what Matt said on Sunday? Or I would constantly be like, how's your journey going? Is there anything you want to talk about with me? And I think those are foundational pieces that we have individually that when you put them together, it just creates this really interesting bond for us as a couple when our foundation is God.
Yeah, I just thank him for his faithfulness to me and his mercy for sure, because all the people, I felt like I didn't deserve it, for sure. And the amount of shame that I had, it just really washed away, and those things I didn't want to talk about. And then the next day I'm talking to her about it, and I come here and have to talk to Matt about it. And then when I went to work, I started talking to them about it. So it was like, it was all out in the open, let's just get this out here. And it was completely weird almost in a way, but it's like God knows best, and it really was what I needed. And that really took all that power away from the enemy in that moment, that he's trying to put me in that shame to keep me essentially away from God. Because now I think when you feel that, you almost feel embarrassed sometimes to go to God. And I felt so low that was all I had left, And in that moment, he saved me.
I know a handful of couples here at church whose marriages are struggling. And I guess I just wanted us to be able to, share this message and encourage you that it doesn't have to stay the way that it is, and that individually you guys can come to the Lord and hopefully grow closer and have a happy marriage, because that's what it is meant to be. So I hope that this message is helpful for other people in the church whose marriages might be struggling.